Today we're going to take a look at Bionic Commando series, the arcade, 1987. This is the arcade version of the game. I don't really remember this title. I was more into playing Trojan at the time. I never really paid attention to this title until it came out on the NES. One thing you'll notice that's different from the NES version is the music. And it's like, wow, where's the cool tunes? But you'll see in the second stage that the music in that stage is very familiar. The one thing I noticed about the arcade version that is it's difficult, is that the soldiers can climb up and climb down, and they didn't do that in the NES version. This version of the game, the original arcade, was designed to suck quarters. I mean, you know, it's a difficult game, but even though you might die a few 100 times, don't let that discourage you. This is definitely a classic and you should take a look at it. And here's the version that we're all familiar with, the Bionic Commando for the NES, released in 1988. They can work as a sequel to the arcade version. It is without a doubt one of my favorite titles for the NES. This is an action-adventure game in which the player has to explore each stage and obtain necessary equipment to progress through the game. The protagonist of the game is Nathan "Rad" Spencer, a commando equipped with a bionic arm featuring a grappling gun, allowing him to pull himself and swing from the ceilings. The series one of the few instances of a platform game in which the player cannot jump. To cross gaps or climb ledges, the hero must use his bionic arm. That's what's freaking cool about this. I remember when I played this game and finished it for the first time, I was amazed that this game, and I think it was because it was so hard, they probably figured that a child probably wouldn't finish the game, that they used the word "damn fool." It was like one of the very first cuss words that I've ever seen in a video game. And it's pretty amazing. It's when you're fighting last boss, which is undoubtedly supposed to be Hitler. You know, when he comes out of his sleep chamber or whatever, and this guy calls you a damn fool. I mean, how cool is that, you know? It definitely leaves you with memories, you know, and it sticks with you. This is definitely a title that you must have if you have an NES. Definitely pick this one up. And now we move on to the Game Boy version of the game that was released in 1992. This version of the game is almost a direct remake of the NES installment, with only a few differences. While bearing the same plot, rescuing Super Joe, the enemy forces in this game are referred to as the Deray's Army instead of the Nazis or Bads, as they're called. And their leader is called Director Wiseman, like the Japanese version of the game. Also, the main character is named Rad Spencer with 1D instead of 2 like the NES version. This version also shifts the military theme present in the original to a more modern sci-fi territory. The uniforms and helmets of the enemies are changed to a more futuristic look, with the characters that have spiky hair. This version also adds more modern cinema-like opening and ending sequences. These sequences and the character drawings in the game manga-style panel illustration, making the Game Boy version more story-oriented. Next is Elite Forces for the Game Boy Color, released in 1999. Though it borrows some elements from its predecessors, Elite Forces is different from the rest of the series. Among the differences are the plot. Also, the characters are unnamed, male and female. You can play both. I like playing the female, it's pretty cool. They have a few moves, such as the ability to climb down from the platforms. Alright, the plot for this game. The peaceful land of Kyrenia is being terrorized by an evil man named Arturus. He is the leader of an evil army called the Avars. As the elite forces fight the Avars, they receive a fragmented communication from Commander Super Joe, who has infiltrated their territory. Joe's message revealed that Arturus was planning to launch the Albatross project. After that communication with Joe was lost, the Bionic Corps contacted the elite forces to help stop the Avars, prevent the fall of Kyrenia, and rescue Super Joe. And again, this is another title worth checking out. I really like the differences between this one and the original NES. Now we're looking at Bionic Commando Rearmed. It is an updated version, an homage to the 8-bit classic. Originally scheduled for release May of 2008, the game was delayed until August. Developed by Grin in cooperation with Capcom. The game features updated graphics, new areas, additional features, and online leaderboards. Capcom revealed that former Capcom employees who worked on the original NES version serve as consultants for this release, which is pretty damn cool. That's keeping with tradition. The references to the Nazi Party that were prevalent in the original title are not featured in Rearmed. And even though the boss still resembles Hitler and is now referred to as the leader, the extremely gruesome scene of his head exploding at the end is ironically only featured in the American version and is censored in other regions due to the equivalent scene in the original game being so infamous in the American release. This is something that would normally be censored, so this scene is the only reason why the game is unrated. This game is excellent. Download it for your PS3 or Xbox 360. You can get it for the PC as well. It's definitely worth a look. Even though the game is hard towards the end, it's well worth the effort. This is Rick of the Retrogamers. Thanks for watching. You can catch us on MySpace, www.myspace.com/the Retrogamers. We have lots of information, codes, tactics. Check us out.